lives in fear of what he's created.
Oh, hey, didn't see that. I was too entrenched in the IR Impact Awards Best Overall Investor Relations Mid-Cap Bracket 2025 winner, Duolingo. Morning, afternoon, whatever, my name is Sketch, and today we're talking about that time that Duolingo released an anime. And it's, well, it's certainly something. I was honestly surprised to see not that many people talking about this back when it came out in October, since the trailer was actually quite popular, especially on Twitter, which by quite popular, I of course mean that everyone was quote tweeting the announcement to make fun of the fact that the Green Bird app decided to drop an animated miniseries instead of actually paying their voice actors. Allegedly, in my opinion. Wow, thanks Duolingo. Okay, I'm sick of talking about AI, but I would be remiss to make this video and not mention a few things. Recently, the CEO of Duolingo, Luis Von Ahn, probably butchered that, but you know, womp, came out and said that Duolingo had become an AI-first company. Understandably, this put them in hot fucking water. A lot of Duolingo users, including myself, have noticed that each language learning lesson is slowly becoming voiced by increasingly larger quantities of automated yapping machines, instead of the real voice actors who had made the courses come to life for the previous 12 years. Fun fact, the Latin course still has the same 5 voice actors whose lines sound like they were recorded by people they randomly pulled off the street in an underground parking lot of an inner-city apartment high-rise on the bad side of town. Which sounds like a complaint until you hear the alternate option, which is the buzzy, unnatural, soulless AI voices that sound like those automated WWE news channels that are apparently incapable of comprehending the way that acronyms work and stop waterboarding themselves.
The show will happen. The stadium will likely fill up one way or another. What? Babel,
one of Duolingo's paid competitors, even leverages this in their ads. Allegedly, in my opinion. And amongst all of this bullshit, Duolingo announced that on October 13th, they would be releasing an anime series. Now, I'm not gonna do a surprise face reveal and turn on my webcam, but if I did, you would see me making some pretty aggressive air quotations. That's because this is not an actual anime. It's in Japanese, it has subtitles. Team subs over dubs rise. It has a style that fits into the aesthetic that anime typically adheres to, and it has a bouncy J-pop coded intro. But it was not produced in Japan. It is targeted at primarily a Western audience. It was produced in an American animation studio, and it's not based on any pre-existing manga or book. As many people have pointed out, anime style is the correct thing to say here, but for the sake of brevity and my own personal sanity, I'm just gonna refer to it as anime for the remainder of this video. Sorry, nerds. We begin with the classic Duolingo characters literally falling out of the sky as they are isekai'd into the digital world of Duo, who here is a real, tangible being? Person? God? Yeah, this guy is like every fanfiction author's overpowered self-insert. Not that I've ever written fanfiction like that. Seriously though, it is taking every fiber of my being to not start rattling off amazing digital circus references at the speed of a Gatling gun. After regaining their senses, Zari, Eddie, Oscar, Junior, Falstaff, and Lily, are welcomed by their psychotic little host. The premise is simple. The main characters are now beta testers for Duo's newest feature in the Duolingo app, Sword Art Online. Since this motley crew are all the most dedicated little street keepers around, Duo has decided to reward them by kidnapping them and inserting their consciousness into an inescapable world of toil and death. Wow, thanks Duolingo. One of the things I should mention is the fact that when Duo speaks, he just says "whooping," which is the little happy noise that plays when you get something right in a lesson. And like, I like the idea. I get what they're trying to do here. But at one point, Duo warns everyone never to let their streak go out, and he just drops the mascot act completely and starts talking in Japanese, I think? Like the rest of the characters. And it's really funny and well done and creepy. It's good at telling you that something's off in this little bastard's head, but they never do it again, despite having multiple opportunities to do so. I suppose there's an argument to be made here that if they let Duo break character too much, the gimmick will lose its punch, but as a result, the catch is that this little shit never stops fucking whippinging, and I want to kill myself. I'm not gonna lie, the intro song is very catchy. I like it more than I should. I have added it to my Nightcore playlist right beside SLR3 MTC. So the first episode we see is the cancel button. Our titular main characters awaken in the red light, green light arena from Squid Game, and are presented with the option to start a lesson, or, in fine print, nope the fuck out of there. Junior spots it first, and despite Duo materializing to judge their life choices, Oscar just presses it anyway while making direct eye contact. Power move. This leads to a sequence that is best described as a Sailor Moon transformation? Like, he becomes an anime girl with thick fucking thighs. Listen, okay, there's this weird thing that someone has been doing as a running joke somewhere in the company where Duolingo is ironically slash satirically sexualized in the strangest ways imaginable. This is someone's full-time job, by the way, is making sure that everyone wants to fuck that owl. Can you imagine the interview? My god, this little fucker's a freak, I ain't gonna lie. Now, I don't mind cursed humor at all.
Anybody want to help me study for my Harkness test?
But the irony poisoning here runs so deep that you can't even get within 50 feet of their shit without a bunny suit. And don't worry, they make full use of this concept over the course of the show. We'll get there, you'll see. I love Zari awkwardly dancing along. Anyway, Oscar funking dies, and the team is forcibly whisked upwards in a disembodied elevator. Next is Office Scavenger Hunt, wherein we get like epic Dragon Balls reference. I know that's not how the name is pronounced, but I don't care because I find it funny. The concept is simple. Find the item that corresponds with the word on screen. Now, I like this as a game. It's a good teamwork exercise. It's a good team building exercise. Corporate would be very pleased. But Eddie commits the unforgivable crime of finding the thing he was asked to locate, and this leads him to being evaporated in front of his child. God damn. Duo appears to look disappointed, but is hyped to discover that Falstaff has found his bikini. He puts it on, he materializes into it in front of everyone. Sir, there are minors present, and slaps his fat little green ass directly into the camera. Each one of these frames cost someone real-world money to make, by the way. Just wanted to remind everyone of that. He snaps his now suddenly corporeal fingers and moves everyone into the next episode. March Madness.
Watch out! The floor is lava!
Everyone must jump from one stone pillar to the next, matching word meanings as they go. Just don't fall into the molten fucking rock! Oh, too bad. How ironic. And they were just becoming lesbian lovers too. Curse you, cruel digital world. Falstaff, Lily, and Junior make it out, however, leading us to the final episode.
The game isn't over.
Duo mocks Zari's death whilst blubbering over his fat little ass cheeks, and Lily jumps up to drop kick his fucking face in. Before she can do anything, however, she's caught by Falstaff and it's revealed that he actually works for Duo.
Top 15 anime betrayals of all time.
We also learn that the other characters aren't dead, just captured in eternal frozen torment, so, you know, it's all good. Lily, disgusted, demands answers on how they can be freed, and the season ends on a cliffhanger that teases the less popular music, math, and chess apps. But it isn't truly over until we get one last teeny tiny little perverted peek at those sumptuous little unclothed green buns. This, of course, means that it can only get worse from here. Okay, right off the bat, they fucking cooked with the animation on this. The studio they decided to go with is Titmouse, who do have a bit of a bad rep being the ones who produced a bunch of other decent and competent shows that everyone ignores, and Big Mouth. Yeah. Like many, I can't stand the modern adult cartoon style. Granted, there's levels to it, like I'll gladly take Lower Decks to Mating Season or Chicago Party Ant. In case you forgot, there's a real-world show that you can pay real-world money to watch called Chicago Party Ant. Ah, life, you truly are sweeter than parody sometimes. Oh, cool, look, they made the Among Us TV show. You know, the Among Us TV show? Wait, there's a fucking Among Us TV show? My point is, when Titmouse locks in, they make nice-looking stuff, man. Like Vox Machina and the Mighty Nine particularly are standouts in this regard, and it's hilarious to me that the season 1 totaling 5 minutes long Duolingo anime looks nicer than official and canon Star Trek media. Wow, thanks Duolingo. There's a lot of cute little anime tropes and touches that are well-known enough in the West that we ignoramus English speakers can get the gist. There's actually some moments of genuine drama between the characters, like Lily and Zari or Junior and his dad. The catch is, of course, that now that it's been revealed that when you die in the video game, you don't actually die in real life. Subversive. The characters can no longer fear death, only extreme discomfort. Yeah, kinda takes the edge off, doesn't it? Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of places that you could go with this concept. Like, what if you really were an immortal video game being who was incapable of dying? Could you take on even the most powerful beings in the universe after leveling up enough? That is, of course, if they decide to make another season, which might be a bit of an optimistic outlook. So far, no one has heard hide nor hair of this continuing, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope that they do. But if Duolingo, the corporation, can go this balls to the walls on AI and general lack of humanity, then I would not be surprised if this just kind of ends here on a cliffhanger. I actually reached out to longtime friend of the channel, Existor, who you should totally subscribe to, by the way, who is a true and proper anime buff, a weeb, as the kids might say, to get his opinion on this whole thing. I see Duolingo has mastered the art of domain expansion, but as a clearly malevolent spirit uses it to capture unsuspecting victims in an effort to consume their souls. On a more serious note, this is funny and has many tropes that are in anime, although I'd say its overall style feels more Western with Japanese fluence than the other way around. Cinematic masterpiece, 5 stars. The Duolingo characters look really nice in the anime style, and the dynamics between them are decently written. I do feel like Lily is a little bit of out of character here. Like, she's supposed to be a sarcastic, no bullshit, stereotypical deadpan genre of individual, but here she feels a bit too emotive. Like, she's supposed to be out of her element, and she's clearly a main character here, but it still feels a little over the top for me. I don't know, maybe my perspective has been poisoned by the influence influence of a certain technicolor-tucking cartoon horse show whose fandom I am definitely not a member of. I feel like Asuka is overcharacterized here as well. Like, I get what they're going for, but I still feel my toes curl when he starts crashing out, and not in a good way. Junior, Eddie, and Zari are spot fucking on. Falstaff has a lot of potential as a character, but they need to be careful of too much deadpan with Lily also in the mix, and doing this without the expense of her character is going to be difficult, which I think explains the mischaracterization that we see from her across the series. How dare you misrepresent my favorite fictional language learning application character, you underpaid gig writer! I also feel like the writers have fallen into a common trap when writing fictional characters surrounding pre-existing media, where you feel like you need to include the characters who make sense to be in that situation, but enough time has passed since the series began that there are so fucking many of them that keeping a realistic and engaging group dynamic afloat without excluding anybody is almost impossible. This is called character bloat, and it's kind of inevitable, but they don't do the worst job of managing it here. The pacing is a bit awkward, but I mean, we are talking about a 5-episode series that totals 7 minutes as a compilation counting the intro, outro, and credits. I feel like I'm not the best judge of pacing when it comes to the dialogue itself, since I don't speak Japanese.
There's a solution here.
But I do feel like the action and character movement is pretty clear and well-paced. No real complaints about the cinematography. I love the intro sequence and credits. For some reason, he's wearing a maid costume, and I don't know why, and I don't think I want to know why. I think I'm good. Honestly, I like the Duolingo anime. I understand how some anime fans are not the most enthusiastic about its existence, and the context of the corporation behind it bowing its knee to hype-based technology markets for investor approval is not something that I can personally stand behind. But a wiser video essayist than me once said, we have to treat these big corporations like toddlers. If they do something that we like, reward them. If they don't, boycott their products and drop your support. I like to wait a little bit before I dive into a topic that I want to cover so that I can see the aftermath of what goes down, and it paid off because, sure enough, Luis Von Ahn actually walked back the stance he took as a direct result of the blowback that his company saw. It sounds silly, but it did work. A lot of people immediately started speculating that this whole anime deal was a distraction from the controversies that the company was facing at the time, and while the timing was very suspicious, I'll give you that, this isn't the kind of thing that you can, like, churn out in a weekend. Handling the logistics of getting everything together, then writing, storyboarding, voice acting, sketching, finishing, post-processing, and releasing something like this could take a year or more. If you go to Cal Arts, for example, you produce one short film per year from late August to late April, and each one of those is 5 minutes long on average. Objectively speaking, this anime is so much better than a commercial that you can't skip on YouTube or a billboard in Times Square. Regardless of whether everyone liked the Duolingo anime, which no, not everyone did, it still reminded people of the app's existence, and I'm sure a few folks who had dropped their language learning prowess and progress decided to reignite their streaks after this shit hit the news, and that's great, despite my, and other people's, personal qualms with Duolingo's strategies and approaches when it comes to business. Encouraging people to learn something while supporting real artists is exactly the behavior we need to encourage from these giant companies. I hope that the Duolingo anime gets a second season. It's certainly not without its flaws, and I would be lying if I said it wasn't a little cursed sometimes, but it's certainly one of the best things that Duolingo could have produced from its mental little green brain, and I personally wouldn't have it any other way. If you're still watching, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for your support. We're almost to 4K, like we're 10 subscribers away, and I cannot say how much that means to me. I started doing this almost 6 years ago, on June 3rd. Depending on how this video goes and the editing on this video goes, I might release it as like a channel birthday video, although that might be a little difficult, we'll see. Either way, if you desire to help me out in any way, I use the money from this channel to fund my education. I have a Patreon, a Ko-Fi. You can give me free money for diminishing returns. I have a free, barely moderated Discord server where you can bully me directly to my face. I also use Twitter more than I should, so follow me on there to watch me retweet my entire timeline every day, multiple times a day. And yeah, I guess that's about it. Wabing. Wabing, wabing. Wabing, wabing, bing, wayo, holy bo, wobbling. That's the best I can phoneticize, chat, I'm sorry.
Bite me! This damn snake won't bite me. You know why? Because I got the best